Keene Project Solutions, a modern engineering and construction firm, embracing technology, establishing industry-leading systems and processes, and delivering reliable results to our customers. At Keene, we are passionate about inspiring our team and our customers to achieve great things, offering the highest quality services in commercial construction to deliver turnkey projects. Our core beliefs drive us forward. Protect people, build relationships, drive innovation, and focus on end goals, bringing our customers' desired results to life. See how Keene can work for you at ThinkDifferent.ThinkKeene.com.
The Neil Diamond Musical, A Beautiful Noise, the uplifting true story, featuring all the songs you love from his Grammy Award-winning career. October 21st through 26th at Des Moines Civic Center. On sale at dmpa.org.
10% of all the new cars sold in Iowa come from the Carl Auto Group. Our neighbors trust us to have the largest selection and the highest standards. To our current customers, thank you. And to our future customers, see for yourself why Carl drives Iowa.
Your dealer for life, it's the Carl way.
I'm Chris Williams from Cyclone Fanatic and a proud Iowa State graduate from the class of 2007. No one shows up like Iowa State fans.
And Cyclones support Cyclones on and off the field.
Your gift can provide scholarships to students, fund groundbreaking research. We could even drum up opportunities for the marching band. Visit MoveWhatMatters.com to learn how you can make an impact today.
What's up, guys? Welcome to Pregame. Hey, I'm trying to produce this on my own here. Doing a really great job. I'm in Dublin. Little drizzly here at the Aer Lingus College Football Classic. It was supposed to be a beautiful day in Dublin, and it is not. And we'll talk about that. We're going to get you ready. We have 3 guys on the ground here in Dublin, which looking forward to watching Iowa State kick off the 2025 college football season against Kansas State. We are here as always because of all of our great sponsors and subscribers. I've met thousands of you here in Dublin, which has been incredible. Thank you so much for coming up and shaking hands and taking pictures and all that great stuff. We couldn't do it without our awesome subscribers and viewers and listeners and all that stuff. We are presented, all of our game day coverage all year long is presented by our friends at Channel Seed. Thank you so much to Joe and Kayla and Chad and their entire team for seeing what we're doing. We're trying to make you a part of, we want to be a part of your Cyclone game day. Pre-game, halftime, post-game. We're going to give you the analysis you want and need immediately as the action happens. And I got a great seat. I'm right here, 50-yard line in this beautiful stadium. Again, it is drizzling. It's starting to rain harder. And this wasn't planned on. I do think this would be a slight advantage to Iowa State, as Kansas State is not used to playing on grass. So we'll talk about that. I'm going to bring Rob Gray in. I'm going to bring in Jake Brend as he's down getting ready to shoot the game for us. And we'll bring in my buddy Rob Gray here. We are tight. Everything in Europe is small. And
except the mountains and the sea.
Except the mountains and the sea. You've been here gallivanting around for a day longer than I have, but I don't know about you. I am so ready for football. Like I am over the tourist thing. Like it was fun. It was an experience of a lifetime. I'm so glad we did it. I'm so glad Iowa State is playing in this game, but I am ready for football.
Well, I've got a couple more days, but I tried to avoid. I know you call it tourist, but I went to a lot of non-touristy spots. I know you went.
Not me. I went to every tourist trap in the county.
I hope you didn't say top of the morning to anybody. they hate that. Anyway, but yeah, I'm definitely ready for football. Been writing the whole time. It sets up nicely to tour all day and finish up my work if I have to at 8 p.m. here. And feel like we've all done some good work coming in, and now we got some more good work to do after week 0 kickoff here.
And it's such a unique experience. You've covered sports longer than I have, but I mean, I can only think of a handful of games in Iowa State football history that, you know, the Florida State game in Arrowhead Stadium comes to mind, like where the opener was a really, really big deal. None bigger than this. None bigger than this. When you factor in the rivalry game, 2 teams picked to finish in the top 4 of the Big 12 Conference by pretty much anybody with an opinion. Awesome fan bases. Just 2 great fan bases. This place is going to be explosive. Usually this game, there's like one really good fan base, and they kind of take over Dublin. That has not been the case this week. But everybody keeps saying, Chris, who do you think's going to win? I don't know. I think this game is a total coin toss. I think that I could convince myself either one of these teams would win it. Do you have a gut the closer we get to kickoff?
I hate to say it, but my gut closer to kickoff, slight edge K-State. I just think the way they're talking about Avery Johnson now after having an off season after starting, you know, he had his bumps. You know, electric guy we know, wasn't that accurate. Rocco was a little bit down accuracy-wise. Both of them were in this game last year, but both of them were efficient. 3 touchdowns each. I think Rocco 2 passing, 1 received. So I agree that it's a coin toss game, but I don't know why. Maybe it's just because I've been here for so long and you start to get my gut feel doesn't usually mean anything. I truly believe it's a pick'em game. It's boring, but again, win the trenches, win the turnover battle. As usual, you're going to win the game.
Interested, too, to see what Iowa State comes out with offensively. We know the quarterback. We know the running back. I think we know the offensive line, even though Trevor Bohr is going to be out. The new injury reports, which I love. Yep. Huge fan of that. Good job, Brett Yormark, the Big 12 Conference. But the passing game is really a question mark, and I don't think it's like a scary one. I just think it's going to look different. I think you're going to have 3 tight ends on the field a lot. And 18, listen, he's basically a receiver. Like, yeah. I can't wait to see what Taylor Mauser's come up with.
Yeah, and conversely, Dom Orange talked to the media this week about how, I can't remember what he said or whatever they did it last Thursday, about how they just hope they don't get, quote, bombed in the first 2 plays because they don't know what to expect either from K-State. So I think we're going to see a lot of wrinkles from both coordinators. But
Wouldn't it be shocking if Iowa State's defense gave up a touchdown in the first series, and then that happens a lot. It happens
a fair amount under Haycock, and then they lock it down, especially when healthy. But also, usually the defense is out of the offense, week 0, week 1. I'm not sure that'll be the case today. I don't foresee a super high-scoring game. I see it in the 20s, but I think both defenses are going to come to play today, but I think there'll be some big plays on both sides.
Well, of everything that we're going to see today, nothing is more exciting to me than seeing Iowa State's linebackers at full strength. I mean, it feels like it's just been forever since we saw this, even at like 70%. Last year they were limping along. Even their guy who played all the games had a dislocated shoulder in Cooper Ebel. I was talking to a couple of insiders last night at one of the pubs we went to and discussing how I like to, I like to go back and watch games and take notes, and I couldn't watch the first half of the Kansas game from last year because but then you look at the depth chart now, and it's alarming how dinged up they actually were. Yep. So I think, the end of last year it was kind of like you can't stop the run. There were all these, and you couldn't. I'm excited to see with Caleb Bacon and Zach Lovett specifically being back. Yep. Will they put their hand on the ground? Yep. How does Iowa State manufacture some pass rush? Not crazy about the DNs only because of a lack of experience. I think McDonough's going to be pretty good, the transfer from Yale. What is John Haycock going to do to manufacture a pass rush? That's a big question mark.
Yeah, I think McDonough's going to be – I think, of course, Orange is always the key because he sets it.
Yes.
The point of attack. If he disrupts everything and the ramparts start to shake a little bit on K-State's O-line, but it's just tough to do, but at least their transfer from Ohio State is out for this game, I believe.
Yes, he is. He's out.
So I really like McDonough. They're going to need somebody else, though. And like you say, it's intriguing to think about Bacon, hand on the ground. Love it in certain situations. spy situations, perhaps, which he excelled in when healthy. That's some of the most intriguing things. Also, Rocco. I mean, speaking of injury reports, on my 32-minute walk in here, I ran into Anthony and Deanne Becht. Anthony told me Rocco feels good. Okay, so there's an injury report.
There you go. Right on the ground here in Dublin.
And then 10 minutes later, I ran into Carson Hansen's parents. They said they feel good too. And also, he's a great sleeper. So he probably slept well on the plane, so he should be very well rested. So that's my on-the-ground injury report.
There you go. Rob Gray breaking you the news. He's got to get to a press conference. Brett Yormark and the 2 athletic directors. It'll probably be, this is a great event, but better go cover it just in case.
Yep, and grab some
Thanks, Rob. Yep, Rob's coverage all day. I'll bring in Jake Brend here, who's down on the field, and we'll get to that in just a couple of minutes. But I want to thank all of our great sponsors. Our friends over at the Iowa Pork Producers have been with Cyclone Fanatic for so long. And, man, gosh darn it, I appreciate them. They're such a great sponsor of ours, and they've been so loyal to us. And I hope that we have done a great job of encouraging you all to support the pork industry in the state of Iowa. Also, would like to thank our friends over at Keen Project Solutions. You saw their little pre-roll ad that Matty Van Winkle put together before the program. What a brilliant company. I love sitting down and talking with my friends at Keen Project Solutions. I want you to go to thinkdifferent.thinkkeen.com. That is spelled K-E-E-N, thinkdifferent.thinkkeen.com. Jake Brend is down in the bowels of Aviva Stadium. Hello, buddy.
That's right. What's up,
How are
C-Dub?
you? What's going on?
Dude,
it's here.
First game day with Cyclone Fanatic.
You fired up for this?
I've averaged 4 hours of sleep a night this week.
I know.
Part of that, they don't have air conditioning here, but most of that is I'm just so fired up for Cyclone football. Like way too fired up.
That's the one thing I wasn't. Everybody told me, like, the hotels don't have air conditioning, and I was like, oh, well, they must. It's muggy everywhere except outside. Like these restaurants and these little pubs that you get in, they're like 100 degrees everywhere, and it's just normal. I don't know.
It's so exciting. I've said it so many different times leading up to this game, but you can't believe that Iowa State's in this game. You can't believe they're playing in Dublin. And 2, it's really starting to set in again that this is a Farmageddon. This isn't playing Washington State in the Alamo Bowl. Like, you go and lose to Washington State, not much of your season changes. If Iowa State loses today, the season completely changes. If they win, the hype train will hit an all-time high, knowing what's in front of you, already knocking off one of the top 3 favorites to win the conference. It's unbelievable how big of a game this is.
I got to admit, too, I very blessed, was excited that Iowa State was going to be in this game. Full disclosure, to me, like there's a part of me that's like rolling my eyes because this feels like a bowl game on steroids.
Yeah,
this is a huge deal here. Like, you walk anywhere in Dublin and you see Iowa State and this whole community, it's one of the biggest cities in Europe, is completely locked into this game. I don't know if the locals care, but the businesses do. I mean, there's purple and cardinal everywhere. And then the aspect that both of these teams, and this is where I want to give Matt Campbell a nod as he starts his 10th season today. You're not playing in this game if you're old Iowa State, right?
No.
You get asked to do this, and like it's a cool deal because as I had mentioned, normally this game, like last year, it was an upset. Florida State was like a 17-point favorite and lost to Georgia Tech.
Yeah,
it's usually like one really big fan base, and then it is so cool to have tens of thousands of both of these fan bases here. And it's been a really great experience. I think I haven't seen one bad mixture of an Iowa State. They are kind of like Iowa State's like sibling in the Big 12. When you look around the ag stuff, you kind of like your town is a little bit secluded.
Yep.
It's just been
You've got another bigger, preppier university in your state that has more money, looks down upon the farmers as they're all these big lawyers and doctors, and the little old ag school over in Ames or Manhattan. I have 100% picked up on that as well this week. I've been to K-State games, I've been to Manhattan, but I've never been around this many K-State fans so consistently, and I completely have gathered that too, that these teams don't like each other, but there's respect between the teams. These fan bases, especially on social media, do not like each other, but I think deep down there's a ton of mutual respect between Iowa State and K-State in almost all regards, except men's basketball. That's off the table.
That's a whole deal. I'll get to more of the game analysis here in just a couple of minutes. But Carl Auto Group is on board with our pregame show, as always. Also, just in case people were wondering, Leah Nelson is going to do these pregames. She is going to be a part of our team. Leah is here with her family. I actually bumped into them on the Guinness Tour yesterday. It was nice to meet her family. But Leah will be back in 25 with us on Cyclone Fanatic, but told her today, hey, go have fun. We don't need to worry about this, but just in case people were wondering, Carl Auto Group has been on board with Cyclone Fanatic, man, almost since the inception of what we're doing here. So thank you for them. Remember, I'm going to be rewrapping my truck. Did you know that, Jake? The Cyclone Fanatic truck's going to get a fresh rewrap. Yeah, go to Carl Customs there.
I can't wait.
Yep. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be sick. And last but certainly not least, again, our friends at Channel Seed are the presenting sponsor of all of our game day coverage all year long here on Cyclone Fanatic.
Love the Seedsmen.
Love the Seedsmen. They're getting ready. Big harvest just around the corner.
Do you know that I went on this national Irish radio station yesterday?
How did that go?
It was incredible. It was so much fun. And the host asked me and Mason, the guy from K-State, about farming. Like, how's the farming been? And Mason has said, honestly, I'm a bad Midwesterner. I have no idea. And I knew, and the main reason I knew was because of our friends at Channel Seeds. Joe Hora and Chad Winterbore, a couple guys I've gotten to know a little bit. I knew exactly how the yields are doing this year, and I felt pretty proud to represent our state over here on the Emerald Isle.
Did you bring a rain jacket?
I did. I've got a rain jacket. Is it pouring?
It's raining really good now. Like I mean, and just so you guys know, I'll show everybody what I'm looking at. I don't want to screw up my microphone.
I made some rain gear out of this plastic bag.
This is it. See? It's raining. Like, it's actually raining out now. This is no longer a drizzle.
My camera's going inside this plastic bag.
Well, we'll work you into the Cyclone Fanatic team with a bit of a soggy. It's like coming down hard now.
So this comes back. I went on the Cocaine Willie podcast last week. A bunch of good gentlemen that host a K-State podcast. Cocaine Willie is what it's called. Yep. Family program. They what they said was they worry about the weather because there's the obvious example of the Abu Sama game in 2023 when the field was covered in snow. That's an extreme example. But last year they had 3 other types of extreme weather games. The last one being in Ames, they lost. They lost to Houston in the rain, a not good Houston team, and they really, really struggled with Tulane when it was raining as well. So they said that their program has a history of struggling in these poor field conditions. So I think that is truly something to watch. It could end up meaning nothing, but I feel like the rain might favor Iowa State, especially being used to the grass already.
Well, the good thing for the fans in attendance, most of this
They're
stadium is covered, yeah. So the fans shouldn't get too wet. But obviously the field, that is absolutely not the case. As you're starting to see the Kansas State Wildcats are taking the field for the first time. We're here way early, but we wanted to do a bit of an extended pregame show for you. Let's get to the actual matchup.
Oh yeah,
itself, and geek out on this a little bit, Jake. I'm over the big picture stuff. Now we can do what we do and what we like to do, and that's really dig into the details. You know, I want to see Iowa State get off to a decent start. Like, that's so cliche, but I want I want this Haycock defense to have a lead as early as humanly possible. And I also think just from a confidence standpoint for the offense, it's going to be an adjustment for Rocco Beck. Like no matter what, it doesn't matter how good the two new transfer wide receivers are. It's going to be an adjustment when your NFL guys are no longer there against another team. And, man, like if Iowa State goes out there with 2-3 tight ends, which we fully expect, and they can get downhill early, start going downhill early with the running game, I love Rocco. I'm confident in Rocco, but I want to make him as comfortable as possible without Higgins and Knoll for the first couple of drives out there. Get that running game going early because that's going to do so much for Rocco's confidence without those two guys for the first time. And also, I just don't want this defense. It's so much better when it has a lead. We know this. And let's put some pressure on Avery Johnson. Make him screw it up. Make him screw it up. And if you can get them having to throw in third and long situations where you know what he's going to do, that's when that young man will make a mistake.
Yeah, and it's elementary football to run the ball, stop the run, but it's enhanced in a game like this when K-State, their biggest strength is running the ball, whether it's with Dylan Edwards or Avery Johnson. If you can get a lead, they can't be as reliant on running the ball. If K-State gets up 10-0 now, it's going to be really, really hard to stop the run when that's all they're going to do, and they can play with a little bit less pressure. So I completely agree. If you can go out and even get a field goal on the board, make it 3-0, that helps so much in the long run. Obviously, you'd like for Iowa State to start this season like they did last year with a 60-yard bullet to Jalen Knoll over the middle, but that's going to be really hard to do when you're playing K-State opposed to North Dakota last year, an FCS opponent. So getting off to a fast start is crucial.
I am expecting Jeremiah Cooper to play cornerback today.
Really? Okay.
On the defensive side, yeah, I would be surprised if he's not starting opposite of Jontez Williams at corner. Kyjon Cummings-Coleman is a guy who they really want to get on the field. It reminds me a lot of when Jeremiah Cooper was a true freshman, and I kept hearing about him. So then people will go, what about Trey Bell? It's not an indictment on Trey Bell. It's just he's a transfer. And these guys take it. There's not a lot of transfers that on game one are ready for this type of a deal that they're going to see today against Kansas State. There's just not many of them. It's why I'm not expecting much from the new wide receivers. I'm just not. I hope that they do well. If you want to bet for the game, take the over on Ben Bramer on any category you could find would be my read on how this is going to work. And then you're going to lean into it. It took Higgins a month to get into the mix. It took Xavier Hutchinson a month, right? And these are NFL guys. So Chase and, Townsend, they're going to be really good football players. And I hope they blow my expectations out of the water. And from all I've heard, they are very happy with those guys. They think they recruited very well. But I'm also getting a lot of feedback. We have depth at wide receiver, they're telling me. Edskelson is a guy. We forget about Carson Brown and all the big catches that he had in the clutch last year.
Dom Overby.
Overby. We haven't even seen Eli Green from North Dakota State, barely played last year. So the most intriguing position to me on the entire field is the wide receiver spot because I want to see how they're rotating in early on. Not even production-wise. I want to see reps. I want to see snap counts at the end of this football game with how they're rotating in that wide receiver room.
Yeah, and it's really hard to adjust to this level week one always. And week one is almost always an FCS opponent too. So you change that from North Dakota game one to Kansas State. It does make sense if you see more of the returners out there. It sounds like it makes sense to throw Cooper at that opposite corner spot, and then he's going to be a Swiss Army knife where his best position is still probably safety, And if you need to throw Bell in there for a series and bring Cooper back to the middle of the defense, they have that ability to do that. You'd ideally like to have an experiment game before this, but here we are. This is it. You got to put your best 11 on the field, both sides, and hope the good guys win.
Well, I don't for a second believe that Jeremiah Cooper just switched to corner a couple weeks ago.
Exactly. Yeah.
This has been in the works, and it's also a guy who you look at, and I'm told that potentially could be a cornerback in the NFL if this season goes okay. And this just gives him more versatility when it comes to the combine. It's good for him too. So, but I'm not writing him off as a safety either. Like you said, I mean, I think he could do multiple things back there, and that would be what a great chip to have if you got to move him back, and then you've got Bell who you like. Let's go. But that'll be something to keep an eye on all day.
Cooper at the corner ideally should be tackling less. You'd think he should be able to stay a little bit more fresh. Hopefully avoid injury a little bit more. Granted that you can't predict injuries, but you're probably more likely to get injured when you're playing in Malik Verdon's spot, because you're hitting a lot of hard-hitting running backs up the middle. Cooper should be mostly focused on the ball hawking skills, which I still think is his best trait as a DB.
We are in the Northwest Bank studios. Appreciate them coming on board for 2025. Already been a great partner. Shout out to my guy Doug. He hooked me up, and they had a currency exchange. It got delivered right to my door. It was amazing. Saved a lot on card transactions and all that stuff. So thanks to our friends at Northwest Bank. They'll be on every Cyclone Fanatic podcast, and pre-game show and post-game show throughout the 2025 and 26 season. Again, if you're just joining us, it's raining pretty good here at Aviva Stadium in Dublin. We think maybe a slight advantage to Iowa State. I don't know. Iowa State's used to grass. They played on all those dewy fields a year ago. We'll see. Both teams are going to have to play on this. I don't know, Jake. This game is a total toss-up in my mind. I don't have any fresh analysis to give here. I've been all over the board on my picks. I think this game is going to be under the 50, which is the total. And I think it's a 3 to 7 point game either way. I do like Iowa State special teams this year. I mean, you should be pretty good with experienced guys coming back. No Iowa State fan is ever confident in kicker, but hopefully it doesn't come down to anything quite like that. Do you have an official play? Are you going with the good guys, or are you sticking with Kansas State?
I picked Kansas State to win the Big 12, and that hinged upon this game, and I hope I'm wrong, but I'm not changing my pick. I picked K-State to win this game 23-20, I believe was my score. Hit the under, but again, one turnover can completely change this game. One Avery Johnson safety from his own 22-yard line can change this game, and I'd love to see that again this year.
Well, I just want a good injury-free game for Iowa State. I have horrible flashbacks to last year when Caleb Bacon went down 7 plays in. One of my favorite Cyclones. I love Caleb, and I got to know some members of his family yesterday. There's lovely people. So that really got everything off to a terrible start. You can hear now. Oh, that's Kansas State. Never mind. I thought maybe the Cyclones were coming onto the field. A lot of people are asking, and I'm sorry, I can't see your comments today, Jake. I don't know if you can see people's comments.
I can't either.
Okay, something's going on with our system. We'll try and get that fixed for but yeah, we can't see what you guys are saying, so I apologize. We're not ignoring you. I am getting a lot this week on social media of who has more fans there? I don't know. I'm thinking it's going to be really even.
Wait a second. I see a super chat from Denver Dunbar.
Oh,
so I can see the super chats, and he asked, who would you say the X factor for each team is?
Well, the X factor for Kansas State is Avery Johnson, and that's it.
Yeah.
This is a guy who an insanely high quarterback prospect for them last year. And listen, I still think he's really good. The question will be, has he made that step? If he has, he is a Heisman Trophy caliber talent. If he's not ready, he's a guy who could lose you the game like he did in Ames last year. So that is the X factor for Kansas State. I will not hear any other opinions. Do you agree or disagree?
No, I totally agree. If you told me that he went out, had 400 all-purpose yards, passing, running, had 4 touchdowns, be like, well, okay. Avery took that next step, and he's going to be one of the best in college football. But if you also told me that he only completed 55% of his passes through 2 interceptions and made a dumb decision on 3rd down and took intentional grounding or something like that, I wouldn't be shocked either. He is 100% K-State's biggest X factor. As far as Iowa State goes, is it fair to say Abu Sama? Abu had he had an up and down sophomore season as he came in as the running back 1, and Carson Hansen pretty clearly took that over at the midway point. But Sama, you could argue his 2 best games as a Cyclone both came against Kansas State, and both came on weird weather days with 5 inches of snow or a 4-degree day. What if Abu Sama goes for 100 yards? The Cyclones are not losing. I can be confident in saying that if he does it. I don't know if that'll happen.
Okay, I'll take that, and I'm gonna go on the other side of the football for my X factor, and I'm gonna say Dominic Orange in the middle for Iowa State. If you study this Haycock defense as long as I have, and I know you have as well, you really realize just how important that spot is. Again, I'll reference that Kansas game from last year again. Orange didn't play in that game, and that was one of the worst defensive games in the history of Iowa State football.
Terrible.
A lot of what you're hearing in the background is that Orange has cut weight, really took his training seriously in the offseason, and is ready to have an NFL highlight tape season. And he's going to need to. Don't know what you're getting on the edge for the Cyclones. We'll watch that closely. Malone, the transfer. You've got McDonough, the transfer. Jace Gilbert at the defensive end. I know I missed
Ezeagu.
Ezeagu. To me, maybe he's the X factor for the whole season, to be honest. Ike Ezeagu got to the point where he can go out and be the man. He's not going to be Will McDonald, but can he take his game to another level? Maybe that's the X factor for the entire season for Iowa State.
Yeah, I'd say the biggest X factor is between him and Tamatoa McDonough. Well, if one of those guys can emerge, you don't have to be Will McDonald. You don't have to be Jaquan Bailey, but can you be MJ Anderson? Can you be a really good defensive end that is not necessarily all conference? If Iowa State can get one of those guys, just one, that could completely change the season from an 8-win season to an 11-win season. And that's a lot of pressure to put on that position, but we saw how much they struggled to get to the quarterback last year, and I don't think they could sustain the points per game without getting at least a few more sacks than they did last season.
Well, that's why we keep an eye today on Lovett and Bacon, and how are they using those guys? How are they lining up? What is the rotation like at linebacker? John Aycock has so much more at his disposal as far as weapons. They were so depleted last year that you couldn't really do anything anywhere else because everybody was just covering up for the linebackers who were constantly out of position. And it's not their fault. They shouldn't have been in those spots, but they had to be. So, yeah, I'll go big man in the middle, Dominic Orange. Jake,
Big
this
time.
has been fun. You got to get ready to get out onto the field. Good news is it has lightened up as far as the drizzle. It's probably a light drizzle is what I would call it now here at Aviva Stadium, as we are just over an hour from kickoff. Rob Gray, what was that?
All I've heard is how it is constantly raining in this country, and how it can just, even if it's not on the forecast, it could just start drizzling. Been here for 4 days, not a sprinkle.
Not a sprinkle.
And here we are on game day, and now we've got some rain.
Well, let's get after it. I'm tired of talking about it. I'm ready to watch some football. I will be here at halftime. Jake, if you want to jump on with me at halftime, if you have time, go for it. If not, don't worry about it. We want to see your highlights as soon as possible.
Yeah, I'll let you know. You might see me, you might not.
Give you full analysis when that comes around. Be here right after the game. The second this thing's over, I'll flip it on. And good luck. Thanks to our presenting sponsor, Champ Seed. Of course, our Scott Group, Keen Project Solutions, and the Iowa Pork Producers. Aiden Wyatt helping us over in Las Vegas, like 9-hour difference from where we are. We appreciate his contributions. Nick and I are across the pond. I leave at 5 a.m. tomorrow to come back for a football game week. Hopefully the Cyclones will be 1-0. We'll talk to you guys at halftime here all over the Cyclone Fanatic Podcast Network.